last several generations, Blues fans have had their luxury of watching one of the premier teams in the Western Conference. Each season spent wondering what the Cup run would hold in store. But now, with 2 months in the books, it seems that era is over, and it's left fans dazed and confused. Although the season has had more than its share of problems on and off the ice, one group does have the power to change. It's the 20 men who put on the blue note each and every game. It'll take a tremendous amount of pride and commitment, but with 4 months remaining, there's still time to turn it around. On a cool December evening in St. Louis, the Blues look to snap a 7-game home losing streak at Savvis Center in St. Louis as they host the Columbus Blue Jackets. And good evening, everyone. Along with Bernie Federko, I'm John.
Welcome back to Savvis Center. It's the Blues and the Blue Jackets for the second time in a week. There's the starting goaltender for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Just his first win in the National Hockey League last night. Pretty good numbers. Has played very well since training camp this year. At the other end, Patrick Lalime goes back for the first time in 7 games. You see his goals against at 4.0, and it's not been good for him, so he'd like to solve his problems and get going. Our officials tonight, Wes McCauley and Steve Kazari are the referees. Brad Lazarowicz and Steve Miller are the linesmen.
And we are set to go. It is Doug Wade at center for St. Louis between Lee Stepniak and Dean McCammon for the Blue Jackets. It is Steve Gertz and Dan Fritchie and Jason Chimera. And the Blues immediately clear it in behind the Blue Jackets goal. Columbus played last night and won in Minnesota 3-2 in a shootout. They also, of course, won in St. Louis on Saturday 4-3. So for the first time this year, they've won 2 in a row on the road, which is 1 shy of a club record. And for the Blues, they're trying to snap a 7-game home losing streak, as Stepniak will dump it in. And a quick change by both clubs 40 seconds in.
This is a very important game for the Blues. They need to really get things going. Very disappointing loss the other night to the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night. They know they can't lose another one to them, so they really have to take the control of this game early and take the play to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who, as you said, John, played last night. They're the tired team.
And the Blues go in offside. They have Gamache on with Chyanek. And Tkachuk there is a look at 24-year-old Simone Gamache, who was picked up on waivers from Nashville. Played in 11 games this year, Bernie, but had limited ice time, as Chyanek is a center. And it's good to see Gamache get a second chance in the NHL.
Yeah, it really is. And he's really, you can't really look at his numbers and really see what he can do, John. He was a kid that played 4th line, averaged a little more than 8 minutes a game. And you're only getting 8 minutes a game. I don't care how skilled you are, you aren't going to get a lot of chances. And that's what he has not got, is the chances. And hopefully he'll get a real good chance if he'll get a lot of ice time and really show what he can do.
Now Mayer's into the zone for Dallas Drake. A shot, and Leclerc makes the save, and no further play.
Nice hit right off the start. Salvador on Fedorov. Fedorov still has not scored a goal this year. 4 assists, 3 of them coming in the 7 games that he's played in Columbus. So it's pretty hard to believe that a guy with that kind of skill, John, in 12 games this season has not scored a goal.
Last night he played in his 1,000th NHL game, the first Russian to play in 1,000 games. Now Baborny walks in, and he didn't get a lot on that shot, and a save by Lalime. And Gamache for the Blues ahead to Weinrich. And that's chipped away by the Blue Jackets. Jeff Platt, number 18, making his NHL debut, called up for the minors today. Columbus has 7 players out of the lineup tonight with injury.
Baborny with a good chance. I think that Matt Walker got up. You'll see here coming down the left wing, it was 2-on-1, but I think the slide here, he tried to fake it. I think that really there, the sliding, Matt Walker threw him off a little bit. He didn't get much wood on that shot. So save for Lalime, and I think this is really going to be important. The beginning of this game for Lalime is not to see the puck, as we mentioned, for 7 games now other than practice. So I think it's very important for this Blues defense to really make sure that he sees the puck every time there's a shot on him.
Tkachuk walks in, a backhander wide of Leclerc. And Gamache, number 20, against Luke Richardson. Now Tkachuk trying to get some space in front. Chianek. Here's Gamache with it, a shot, and that was high over the goal. And it is played by Yaroslav Balashchik behind his own goal for the veteran Richardson. And now it's poked to center by diving Jeff Platt. Here come the Blues back in. Weidman, a shot, blocker saved by Leclerc. And the puck chipped ahead for Mike Rupp. And Jody Shelley, their tough guy, gets it out. He's hit by Aaron Downey, who's back in the lineup tonight, missing the last 7 games, as Downey's been a healthy scratch.
And Downey's an energy guy. You know that he's going to be out there. He's got to be very careful, though, that he doesn't take any penalties. That's the important thing. When you have an energy guy come into the lineup, you don't want him to be overactive and then take penalties.
This is the 4th of 8 meetings between the Blues and Blue Jackets. Columbus has won 2 of 3. And as we said, they won in here on Saturday 4-3. And Rycroft on the faceoff. And a quick shot on goal. We are joined in our broadcast booth by Blues President and CEO Mark Sauer. And Mark, we appreciate you coming up to our broadcast position here. It's good to see you, and unfortunately it's not under better circumstances. I know it's been a tough start for the team on and off the ice.
Yeah, it's too bad, and obviously we've let our fans down, and we expect a lot more from the team, and you know, it's just been a real disappointing start.
When the ownership decided to sell the team, Mark, you knew you couldn't have a lot of long-term contracts on the book, and it might be a tough year, but I don't think anyone envisioned it'd be this tough a start on the ice.
And we think we've got a roster that should have won a lot more games than it has, and I don't mean that in a threatening way. You know, I really feel badly for Mike Kitchen. He's a terrific coach. He deserves more W's, and you know, let's hope now that Chuck is back and healthy with better goaltending. We should get a lot of wins. I think I've counted 9 losses where we held the lead. And that, you know, we got to close those out, and everybody realizes that. And you know, the fans have been real good. You know, they demand more, they deserve more, and you know, we hope to deliver.
Mark, where is the sale? I mean, we know that we read a lot, we see a lot with the sale of the team. The one group was in, they were involved. That seemed to evaporate now. What's the situation right now with the sale of the team?
Well, we've got about 8 to 10 interested parties. A handful are from St. Louis. The others are out-of-towners, but they're all interested, obviously, in keeping the team here. And you know, there's a lot of interest because of the new collective bargaining agreement and the hard salary cap and revenue sharing, and the flow of the game. You know, and you know, I was hoping I'd see Drake cash in there, guys. That's
you could have done the call. You could have done the call.
I doubt it, Bernie.
You can make your play-by-play debut.
I doubt it. By the way, you guys have been terrific, and I know we haven't had the product on the ice and the wins for you guys, but I've heard a lot of great things from our fans about how you, John, and Bernie are presenting, and thank you very much. You're doing a great job. But on the sale process, you know, we put the team up publicly for sale in June. This stuff takes a long time. And we had the checker troop come by, and now that didn't happen, and now we got a lot of other people that are knocking on the door in various stages, guys. Some have been here a couple of days, some we've been in contact with for a couple of months. So it's a work in progress, and I know that's no fun, but you know, I'm optimistic it'll happen in the next couple of months, maybe even sooner.
So there really is no time frame right now.
There is none. You know, it's a tricky. You know, it's the arena for sale. It's the team. A lot of money involved, a lot of complexities, and we just have to play this process out.
Well, if I had the money, I'd be the first to offer you, Mark.
Okay. Fair enough.
Blues on the power play here, by the way. But we mentioned the Checkets group. They were in the process and backed out. Are they out totally, or could they come back?
To my understanding, they are. Now, I can't speak for what's going on in their mindsets, but we have not heard from them. So I'm assuming they are out. That they're out.
Is there any chance that the Lorries change their mind and hold on to the team, Mark?
No chance whatsoever. John, that's a good question. I hear that a lot. No, you know, they've lost a lot of money. They took this team to the lockout and basically helped finance, not basically, they've helped finance the brave new world, the hard salary cap. And they want to go off and do other things, and you know, we thank them. They've been excellent. They let us put together a very good team. You know, obviously we wish we had gotten to the finals and beyond under the Lauries, but you know, they never shorted us on the resources, and made a lot of improvements here at the arena. So, but they want to turn the page, and you know, you guys know the history. You've been involved in the history of this franchise. It's changed hands several times, and you know, we want to sort of stabilize that, and I think we can with a new hard salary cap.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us here and clearing up some issues and letting fans hear from the president of the club. And let's hope that there are brighter days, and I know there'll be brighter days ahead for Blues fans.
Well, listen, thank you guys for all the work you've done. We're getting a lot of chances here. Would you guys get a couple? Thanks, guys.
Oh, we can. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, fellas.
Blues president and CEO Mark Sauer, our guest. The Blues power play has expired. No score, first period. Let's take a look at tonight's Crease Police, brought to you by McDonald's, as the Blues host Columbus here on a crisp, cool evening in December. Good hockey weather, Bernie Federico.
This is when the hockey weather starts in St. Louis. John, it's the 1st of December now, and the Blues really have to start playing hockey like it is hockey weather, and they need to really string some wins together, and I think Mark said it all. I mean, I think everybody, including the players, is very disappointed the way things have gone this year, and we're just hoping that we all hoping that it turns around and goes the other way.
By the way, the Blues did have 3 shots on their power play and have outshot the Jackets 6-1 in the early going. Well, the first 15,000 fans will receive a full set of limited edition Blues trading cards from Warenberg Theaters when the Islanders visit next Tuesday, December 6th. Fans can also receive free Big Mac vouchers and experience huge savings on purchases of 4 tickets that game as part of Big Mac Family 4-pack night. Plus, it's half-price night when groups of 20 or more get the best deal in town with half-price tickets. And that is the Blues' next game, Tuesday against the Islanders, as the Blues right now in a very soft stretch in their schedule. They have 1 game in 9 days, that's tonight, and then they'll play 13 games in 26 days until New Year's Eve.
Yeah, they played a lot less than everybody in the league, and then they're having another stretch. It's really unusual, John, but it's the way the scheduling is.
Hooking.
There's the hooking call on Barrett Jackman. So for the first time tonight, Columbus will be on the power play. But you can see there pretty obvious as he was going to the front of the net, ended up running into Lalime. So the Blues have their workout. The Blues have been very good in the killing of the penalties, although Columbus has got the worst power play in the league. But the Blues have killed 10 of 11 penalties that they've taken against Columbus in the first 3 games that they played this year.
Although that 1 power play goal was the game winner when Aaron Johnson scored to break a 3-3 tie in the 3rd period. That was on Saturday in the 4-3 win. He scored midway through that 3rd. Now Fedorov for Columbus to Vaborny. Back for Berard, who leads the club with 5 power play goals. Here's Zherdev setting up. He goes through the slot. Now Westcott for Vaborny, chased by Salvador, who missed the last game with a sore knee, but he's back, as you can see. And Salvador on that far side can't clear it. Now Vaborny. Salvador lost his stick, gets one from Ryan Johnson. Now Westcott on the far side. Fedorov sends it low. Here's Zherdev. He can't send one in front. Now it's Berard to Zherdev. Back on the line to Westcott. In front, broken up by Beckman, not cleared. 45 to go in the power play. Here's a drive wide of the goal by Berard, and another chance for Zherdev. And that hit a leg in front, I think, Beckman. Now Zherdev again. He goes across the slot. Berard to Zherdev. Toward the net. Poked away by Lalime. And the Blues get it and pound it down the ice. A good job by Mayers.
Well, there's a perfect example there, John, where you see a guy with a broken stick. So Ryan Johnson had no stick, and that's where you have to utilize. It's almost having a 5-on-3, but you've got to use that guy where he can't use the stick. And Columbus played perfectly right into the way the Blues wanted him to play, but they kept going to the front of the net instead of that side.
And a shot by Berard. You're right. They really never attacked Johnson. And the Blues have killed it off. No shots for Columbus as Jackman has exited the box. And here is Weinrich. Ahead to Jackman, who's coming off his first ever 2-goal game in the NHL. Jackman. And he's tripped up by Westcott. And a penalty called there as he had a half step on Westcott, and the Columbus defender had to pull him down.
Eric Jackman turning into an offensive defenseman. 2 goals the other night, and a good play to go wide on Doobie Westcott, just cutting to the net using your size.
15, Columbus, 2 minutes for tripping.
So the Blues will get their second opportunity. As you mentioned, they had 3 shots. Here it is coming in there. I think maybe he lost an edge. I think that's really kind of pretty good position by Westcott. That's a good call for the Blues there.
Blues had 3 shots on their first power play. Here's Chayanek for Kachuk. Back to Chayanek. Out high now for Weidman. And his shot is blocked by Gertson, and it bounces back down the ice. And Chayanek gets it for the Blues. Here's Waite for Chayanek. And the hard around for Kachuk. He'll play one to Sillinger. Off the puck, Suchi gets it. And it's rolled out of the zone by Steven Gertson. Now Waite ahead for Kachuk. Kachuk, of course, had 18 power play goals to lead the Blues in 03-04. Second in the NHL. Now Doug Waite, another penalty called here. The Blues work it in deep, and Kachuk very smartly just gives it up because you want as much time as you can with that 5-on-3.
Absolutely, John, and good play. That almost went in. That's a weak shot too, but that's exactly what you want to do. So the Blues will be on a 2-man advantage.
38, Columbus, 2 minutes for hooking.
So this is an important factor in the game right now. This is going against Herdina. So the Blues with a 2-man advantage, and the Blues really need to get it done here.
A 5-on-3 for 65 seconds. The Blues have Sillinger, Kachuk, Chayanek up front with Beckman and Waite on defense, and the Blue Jackets, Fedorov wins the faceoff, and it's cleared down the ice. Now Waite back to center. What a chance early for the Blues. And Waite back of the goal, lost it, but Beckman kept it in. Now Sillinger, a former member of the Blue Jackets. Here's Kachuk out of the corner, right across the goal crease, but Sillinger could knock it in. Now back for Waite. To Beckman. Into Chayanek, to Beckman, to Waite. Now Kachuk, a shot, and that hit the mask of LeClaire and went over the net. Here's Beckman again. For Waite. Wrist shot, save LeClaire. And the puck knocked back of the goal. Kachuk back for Waite. Into Sillinger for Waite. And that pass now comes out high again. Beckman, a drive and a save. Rebound, Chayanek. And that's tipped over the goal. Here's Waite again. That shot blocked. Columbus gets 1 man back. Waite, a drive and a save by LeClaire, and he hangs on with great pressure around that Columbus goal.
Real good pressure by the Blues. Doug Waite didn't get wood on a couple of shots, but that was a big shot there right along the ice. Here it is, the Waite, the wrist shot on that one. Came back to him though here, and this one-timer, good save with the left pad, and then he was able to hang on to it. But here's the shot by Kachuk, I believe. This is the one that came to the front, and I believe he hit the, if you'd have saw it, I think he actually hit the crossbar, not the mash down there. I think it did kind of bounced off the top of the crossbar as he didn't get a lot of wood on that one.
Now Stepniak back on the line, Weidman. For Stepniak. The Blues have already had 4 shots on the power play. 30 seconds left in the 5-on-4. Now Stepniak for McCammon. Out high to Weinrich. And then Weidman fanned on it. And Trevor Letowski, who scored last night against Minnesota's first goal in 15 games, gets it in. McCammon gets it back to center.
And he must have got rewarded because he ended up in the shootout too. He didn't score in the shootout, but he was called upon. First goal in 15 games, and you're in there. It's pretty good.
Now the Blues, and an empty net. Stepniak and Gamache were both in there, and it was close but not in. And Herdina's back for Columbus. And here's a shot from the boards and a save by Lalime. And Weinrich takes over for St. Louis.
Stepniak really needs to bear down there. He had an opportunity. I think he rushed himself there and taken an extra step. He had plenty of time to take the extra step and just dump that into the empty net, but he tried to just really quickly move it in past the left pad of LeClaire and then the quick shot, but it didn't get it on the net.
Well, Ryan Johnson ahead for Mayers. And he'll scoop one to the corner. Suchi going back. And he is drilled by Johnson. And a shot wide. That's the best hit of the night. Ryan Johnson on Suchi. Now Johnson gets free back of the goal. Gets it in front. Drake, a shot. Didn't get through. Johnson back on the line for Matt Walker. And that's off a leg and back to center. Walker on defense with Jackman. And Mayers will toss one to the near corner. Under 7 to go in this opening period. No score as it is Suchi, a long feed for Vaborny. He's dangerous. Vaborny, a shot. And a save by Lalime. He's knocked down. As Jeff Platt in his first NHL game went right to the net. And Lalime is back on the ice. The Blues clear it all the way in there. And icing call. Still no score first period.
No score here at Savas. The Blues, a couple of good opportunities. This is the one by Stempniak. He tried to just go by quickly. He had enough time to take an extra step before he slide that past LeClaire, but kind of rushed it a little bit, so a good opportunity goes wasted.
The Blues have not played since Saturday, so they've had 4 days to work on their game, getting back to basics. Well, that could be a good thing. As a matter of fact, all 4 wins this year have come when they've had 2 or more days off. And Mike Kitchen put his club through a very tough workout, especially on Sunday.
I think they were expecting that after losing it, even though you played back-to-back games Friday and Saturday right after Thanksgiving. It's always a message that has to be sent. He's not happy with the way the team has played, and he wants them to play better, and they all know that.
Here's a centering pass and a bouncing puck as Letowski tried to knock it out of midair, and it bounced to Lalime, and now we get pushing. Coming up in the Jack in the Box intermission report, Dan will visit with Aaron Downey. We'll have the highlights and some audio from Eric Weinrich, who is wearing one of our microphones tonight. Matching minors to Letowski and Jackman. So we go 4-on-4. Fedorov, a backhand chance and a save by Lalime. Now Nikolai Zherdev back for Westcott. Into Berard, trying to center one. This year, 4-on-4, the Blues have been outscored 4-0. Columbus has been outscored 2-1 when playing 4-on-4.
This gives the Columbus Blue Jackets a pretty good advantage here, especially when Fedorov is out there. Got a couple of guys that love to handle a puck, and Fedorov and also Zherdev and also Vaborny. So the Blues have to be very careful when those guys are on the ice.
Here comes the 21-year-old Zherdev. And he works into an area where there are 4 Blues players. And they picked his pocket. That wasn't a smart play by the second-year man, Zherdev.
No, this game is not meant to be played by yourself, so you've got to use the people around you, and I think that's something that he's still trying to learn.
Here comes Vaborny. And he goes wide away from traffic, and a backhander, and Lalime makes the save. And he holds it. Join fellow Blues fans at the Rec Room Sports Bar on Thursday, December 8th for the most exciting interactive game-watching party in town. It's the Blues Cool Bars Tour, bubble hockey tournaments, raffles for great prizes, intermission games, and much more. The Blues road game against Tampa starts at 6:30, but get there early to the Rec Room on Telegraph Road. 4.5 to go first period, no score. As McCammon's pass picked off by Vaborny. 25 to go in the 4-on-4. And the Blues recover. Now they give it up. And a shot from the slot by Ron Hainsey, who was just picked up on waivers from Montreal. That was wide, but because of that giveaway, the Blues were chasing, and they pick up a penalty.
Yeah, cross-checking call.
6 of St. Louis, 2 minutes for cross-check.
And it was Eric Weinrich. He did make the turnover there. Viborni almost stole it from him there, so it's come to the front of the net, and that's where the penalty call is. The shot from Hainsey wide to the far side, but a short 4-on-3 power play for Columbus.
And a diving play by Sillinger. Mike Kitchen talking this morning. He said our team game's been pretty good of late, but individual breakdowns are killing us. And there was an example, Bernie. You have the puck and you give it up. Now Viborni back of the goal. Lost it. Sillinger out of the St. Louis zone. Jackman and Letowski have returned, so the 4-on-3 advantage becomes a 5-on-4 manpower advantage for Columbus. As Fedorov blasts it in. Play to the corner. Salvador trying to get the puck from Shelley. And it squirts free to Beckman. We mentioned Columbus missing 7 players with injury, including Adam Foote, Rostislav Klesla, Manny Malhotra, Rick Nash, who has a knee injury, and 18-year-old Gilbert Brulé. So some of their very best players are on the shelf tonight.
And most of their best players are on the shelf, and when you have missing key players like that, very difficult, especially their defense. Klesla and Foote, the 2 best defensemen they have, and of course Nash is their #1 forward, so that combination really hurts you as a squad.
Here is Berard, his shot blocked by Mark Rycroft. And Ryan Johnson away, now a 2-on-1. Weidman steps up, and a chance, and he's pulled down. And the Blues will get a power play. And that was, I think, a good penalty to take there because Weidman was wide open in the slot.
Good play by Weidman coming up on the play. This pass was not intended for him, but it ended up coming to him. So it's going to be a call against Shelley. But here, that was a foolish shot right there from Berard. It was so obvious that Rycroft was going to block that. And look here, this pass actually was supposed to be for Johnson. A good play by Shelley really to make the hook there. Otherwise, Weidman's in a great spot right in the middle of the slot for a great scoring opportunity.
And as far as the Blues, they're fairly healthy. Scott Young is out tonight with a hip problem, but he should play next week. And the only long-term injury, Eric Brewer with that shoulder injury. And he's most likely out until at least Christmas. Now the Blues work in. Doug Weight. Columbus had 2 minors on that last play. Here's Beckman. Berard and Shelley each for hooking. Beckman a shot. Now chipped in front. Sillinger back to Beckman again. They get Weinrich back. It's another 5-on-3. Their second of the period. Now in front. Sillinger a shot. And it's loose and covered by Leclerc. As the Blues came close again.
I didn't even realize that there were 2 calls on that last call. Berard got the call early. He was going to hook. I thought he was going to hook, and then he let him go, but he got called anyway.
Yeah, they both hooked the same guy. Berard hooked Weidman into the zone, and then Shelley hooked him when he went to shoot.
That's tough break for a team when you do that. The Blues need to capitalize on this, though.
Their second 5-on-3 of the period. Beckman for Weight. Sillinger back for Weight. In front. Try to jam it in. Turned away. Blues stay after it. Weight gets it on the point. Works in a shot. And that hits something, went wide. Kachuk parked right in front of Leclerc. Now Weight for Beckman. A shot. Kachuk trying to jam it through the legs, and it's covered by the 23-year-old Pascal Leclerc.
Now the Blues are trying to get the puck to the front of the net. Keith Kachuk, you can see how he's parked right in front of the net. All the shots are going right into the middle, and they're hoping that Kachuk can get the rebound, but Leclerc's done a pretty good job controlling his rebounds. But I still would like Kachuk to move in and out a little more so that he can not only get some rebounds, but he might be able to back into a situation where he can get a little quick pass, like right here.
Here's Gamache, the rebound. 2 chances, and the newcomer is stopped by Leclerc. Now Kachuk out of the corner, can't get a shot. And the Blue Jackets clear it down the ice. 30 seconds left in the 5-on-3.
That was very good goaltending by Leclerc. Very quick goaltending. Gamache with a couple of good opportunities.
Here he comes again. Now Gamache for Tkachuk. He walks in. Can't get it on goal. Final minute, first period. Back on the line to Beckman. For Waite. Into Sillinger. For Doug Wade, a shot. He scores! Top corner. And it's 1-0.
That's a huge goal right there. Only 7 seconds remaining in the 5-on-3s. This was a goal the Blues had to get here. And good movement. Doug Waite went down low. Looked like the pass was going to go to Tkachuk, but instead it went back to Waite, and he just blasted this one right through the traffic, up over top, and Leclerc never saw this at all. Was this deflected at all or not? But that's a big goal. Weinrich likes it, and the Blues get on the board first.
Waite's 5th of the year, and it's 1-0. And Columbus back at full strength. 35 to go in the first period. Sillinger and Beckman get the assist on the goal. Waite's team leading 4th power play goal. Now Shelley for Columbus plays one back of the goal. And Dallas Drake takes over. Well, the Blues with 2 5-on-3 power plays, they had to cash in on that last one.
Absolutely, John. It was imperative, and what the Blues have not only done well, they forced Columbus to take the penalties, but John, they've also only allowed 5 shots on goal against Salim, which is, I think, a big factor, out shooting Columbus 17-5 in this first period. So a big goal to end this period. That should give the Blues momentum going into the second.
Blues hockey is brought to you by smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste for your great times. Shot 17-5 for the Blues, and they get the late power play goal from Doug Waite. And after 20 minutes, the Blues lead the Blue Jackets 1-0. And we are underway here in the second period. The Blues leading 1-0. Teams at full strength as Dan Fritchie, number 49, has it for Columbus. With Chimera and Gertzen. Here's Gertzen. Wheels one back of the goal for Chimera. And now chipped up the wall, but not out. Gertzen gets it. A shot. And that is high and on the glass. The Blues have allowed a goal in the first minute of a period 4 times in their last 3 games. So that's been a bit of a sore spot for the coaches and the players. They've got to bear down in the first and last minutes of the period.
Yeah, you very much have to. I mean, that's really what sets the momentum for either the next period or the rest of the period. The good news for the Blues is Columbus is 1-13 when they give up their first goal this year. So let's hope that continues to stay that way, John.
And a high shot by Bolashchuk and a save by Lalime. Chopped down the ice by Tkachuk. By the way, big trade last night in the NHL. Joe Thornton going from Boston to San Jose for Brad Stewart, Wayne Primo, and Marco Sturm. I was shocked by the trade. What are your thoughts, Bernie?
I was shocked because Joe Thornton, from all that I've talked to, is really he's the franchise in Boston, or he was the franchise in Boston. He was the first pick overall for the Bruins. I mean, he's been nurtured by the Bruins, and I was really very surprised. I know that the Bruins are struggling, but you still wouldn't think that they would make a move of that magnitude. And I mean, Sturm is a good player, so is Stewart, but I think that San Jose got the best of that trade because I think they got the best player. I always look at who gets the best player, and I really believe that Thornton is the best player of that trade.
He's only 26 and had 33 points in 23 games this year with Boston. They just signed him to a big 3-year contract, and then 5 weeks into the season, or a little more than that, they deal him. As both Boston and San Jose have struggled mightily this season.
Yeah, and San Jose looked so good. Here's the call there. You see Richardson got his stick up on Tkachuk. So it's a hooking call. The Blues will be on their sixth power play. They're 1 for 5 tonight. 2 of those power plays have been 5-on-3s. They've been 14 of their 17 shots have come on the power play.
And a shot from the point by Waite, who has the game's only goal. Waite and Weidman, the point man. Up front, it is Stepniak, McCammon, and Sillinger. As McCammon is knocked down, Waite trying to keep it in, he can't. And Trevor Letowski away for Columbus. And he'll kill some time as he wanders back in his own zone. .35 gone in the power play. Here come the Blues again. Banked in there by Weidman. LeClaire sets it up. And that's not cleared. Now right to Vaborny. And he hits Doug Waite, and it goes to center. Waite may have been injured on the play. As Vaborny circles and plays it back to Suchi. I think Waite took that one up on the wrist, Bernie. And now we get a whistle here. And another penalty has been detected by Wes McCauley. Wes is the son of the late John McCauley, a longtime NHL referee, and no question Waite got that one on the right. Well, now we know, right there, right on that right wrist.
You can see the red mark there, right where Ray Barilli is working on it. If you get hit on the, as long as you don't get hit on the side, if you get hit on the where the bone is thick, it's okay. It's not going to break it there. It just kind of stings a little bit. It's if your wrist is flat and it hits you on the side of the wrist, that's where you really worry about it. But I think that actually hit him as he had his hand facing forward, so I think he'll probably be all right.
Well, the Blues get nailed for too many men, and we'll go 4-on-4. As the Blue Jackets get in there. Here's a chance. Zherdev wires that one high off the glass. Maybe their best scoring chance of the game. And Zherdev missed everything.
We haven't seen Lalime face a lot of shots tonight at all, but I really like the way he challenged the shooter right there. He took a step way forward. That's something he was staying back inside the net before he went into this little slump where he's not played the last 6 games. So I know that's something that he's been working on, his angles and coming out. But here you look here at the turnover. Watch how far Lalime takes a step out. He's way out in front of the paint, and that's where a goaltender has to be. He's a butterfly goaltender that will go down. And if you're at the front of the crease and you go down, there's still nothing to shoot at. If you get stuck inside that painted area and you go down, there's plenty of room to shoot at. And that's something that he was doing before he sat up these games. It looked like he's got that straightened out, and it looks like he's really challenging the shooters a lot more now.
Here is a 2-on-1, Vaborny and Fedorov. Vaborny, a shot off the goalpost. On a one-timer, hit the near post. And Jackman counters for the Blues. For Ryan Johnson, a shot. Got through, and LeClaire made the save. And Fedorov up ice for Columbus. He played close to 10 minutes in that opening period, did Fedorov. Well, the Blues are short-handed here. On the line, a slap shot by Hainsey. That was blocked out high by Ryan Johnson. Now Fedorov throws it deep and gets it back. Fedorov trying to walk toward the net. No lane open. Now for Hainsey. Far side broken up by Mayers, and he'll clear one to center.
Good job by the Blues forwards blocking those shots.
And Columbus is offside with 14 seconds left in the power play.
And Columbus had their only real good opportunity. 2 wrong guys to give a 2-on-1 to, and this shot by Vaborny right off that right post right there. So quick shot there by Vaborny, and here's a good look from the overhead right off the inside of that post right there. So nice 2-on-1. Those are the ones the Blues can't afford to give up to those 2 guys.
Patrick's dad is here in St. Louis, all the way from Drummondville, Quebec, to see his son play for the first time in St. Louis. He drills wells up in Drummondville. Pretty cold up there, but he said even in the dead of winter you can drill wells in Quebec. They have a
really in the ice.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it, but they have good equipment, I guess. Right?
Yeah, they must. Well, I guess only the first few feet of the ground gets frozen in the winter. Once you get through that permafrost, you're probably okay.
Now the Blues back at full strength. Here is Waite. Trying to get turned around. Good to see him back out there after blocking that shot on the wrist. And Chimera to center ice for the Blue Jackets. On for Letowski. He shoots one. Saved by Lalime. And a big rebound is gobbled up by Weinrich. Shots this period 3-2 for Columbus. Blues lead by 1. Now Lee Stepniak for McCammon. He steps around Luke Richardson. Good stick handling there. Now back for Walker. A shot. And he missed the target. And Columbus out the near side with Balashtik. He had the winner last night in a shootout in Minnesota.
Yeah, he hasn't scored a goal in regulation this season yet in 9 games that he's played. But he got a big one. It won't be considered his first goal of his career, but it's a good one when it comes in a shootout. It even doesn't show up in the record book.
Yeah, shootout goals do not count in the goal totals for the players. As Chianek fires it in deep. Now Richardson gets it. Richardson scored a goal against the Blues last Saturday. Columbus's defense has chipped in a lot this year. They have scored a combined 13 goals out of their 47 overall. All of 03-04, their defense had 20 goals, so they're on pace for well into the 30-goal area.
Problem is that their forwards aren't scoring any goals, John.
It's a big problem.
It makes it more so. I mean, they're the lowest scoring team in the league by far. The Blues are the second lowest scoring, so it's something
when Rick Nash comes back, and he'll start skating any day, Bernie, they say.
Yeah.
When he gets back, he led the league in goals 2 years ago.
Well, he's going to take a lot of shots, but you never know if it's going to go in or not, John. And he's going to make this team better, but I don't think they're going to turn around that quickly as far as the goal scoring goes. But he will be a big factor in the scoring.
And a shot there by Girardeau, stopped by Lalime. I think the Blues are getting a penalty here. Here's a look at tonight's Party Zone fans. You could win seats at a Bud Light viewing party throughout St. Louis. It's the Party Zone, brought to you by Bud Light and FSN Midwest. Well, Drake in the box for hooking. And Columbus on its 4th power play. Blues short-handed. Chianek for Sillinger. Tipped and a save by Leclerc. Blues in Chicago, the only clubs in the league without a short-handed goal this year. Blues had a pretty good chance there. Now Beckman back for St. Louis. For Sillinger, and he picks an opening and clears it. Again, the Jackets power play last in the league, Bernie.
That's why this is the team that the Blues really, if they get an opportunity, they need to try to score a shorthanded goal. This is such a struggling power play. They've got no confidence at all, Columbus. They're going to pass and shoot at the wrong time. So if you really force them, you're going to get some opportunities. And if you get an opportunity, go take it to the net.
Well, there's a good setup, and fanning on the shot was Platt in his first NHL game. Now Platt gets it again for Hainsey. Platt off the wall, a shot, and a save by Lalime. And Balashik trying to jam in the rebound, but he's pushed away by Salvador.
Columbus got the puck to the position where they wanted to. There's the shot, just kind of deflected through, but the Blues at the other hand, a shorthanded attempt. Nice little pass across. Good work there by Berard coming back on Sillinger to stop him from getting a lot of wood on it, but still a good save made by Leclerc.
Blue Jackets win the draw. And Letowski could have shot it now to the corner, out high. Westcott, high shot and a save by Lalime with that catchy glove.
Good defense there by the Blues. Good play by Westcott. He had his head up when he took the shot. Mears went down to block it, so he shot this high. But that's an easy save. You see no traffic in front at all, so Lalime just caught that puck and hung on to it.
He mentioned Lalime hasn't played in 3 weeks. He said that this 3-week period is the longest time between games, non-injury time, in his career. And thus far, he's responded very well. And the puck is dumped in, but too high. By the way, tonight we mentioned Boston, their big trade. Boston leading Ottawa 3-0 in the third. The reason I mentioned the score, Danny Heatley of Ottawa has picked up at least 1 point in every game this year. And, of course, has been held pointless tonight. If he does get a point tonight, Bernie, he'll tie an NHL record for most games with a point by a player on a new team. Wayne Gretzky has the record of 23 games in a row with a point. He did it with the Kings in '88-'89.
Yeah, it's really amazing to go it that long. I mean, Dan Heatley's a great player, and he's playing on a great team, much better team. When you go from Atlanta to Ottawa, you got a lot more supporting help, and it's really helped. And you, speaking of that Boston team, they hadn't won, and the big trade, Sturm has a goal and assist in this game tonight already. So 3-0 Boston. So it appears that trade that they made, getting rid of Thornton and getting Sturm and Stewart. Stewart has an assist on the second Boston goal as well. So it's interesting.
Columbus had 5 shots on that power play. But it's still 1-0 for the Blues. The only goal by Doug Weight late in the first period on a 5-on-3. Here's Weight working low. Chips it high. And will he get called, or did it tip off a stick or the glass? I think the linesmen are jumping in, Bernie, and saying that was tipped.
Yeah.
Well, get 4 games for the price of 3 when you order the Blues 3-game fan plan. In addition to tickets for February 2nd against Chicago and March 11th against LA. You'll have a seat when the Blues retire Al McInnes' number 2 jersey on April 9th against Edmonton. Plus, you'll receive a free voucher for another game of your choice this season. For more information, call 622-BLUE. Midway through the second period. Blues with a 1-0 lead. Here's Rupp off the wall to Richardson. And that shot hit traffic on the way through. And the Blues to center with Tkachuk. Has a lane, a shot. Now he gets his own rebound. In for Weinrich, great pass. Backhander, rebound, Kabosh! And he had a great chance and was stopped by Leclerc. And cleared ahead. Weinrich trying to keep it in. And now chipped out of there to Gertzen. 1-on-1. And he can't get around the Blues defender Walker. Now it's pinballed around at center. And it is Platt working in for Columbus, the Mississauga, Ontario native, knocked down by Sillinger. Now Platt again. He's only 5'9", but he goes down and gets right back up. On the line, West got a shot, blocked, and Mayer sends it out. Now Platt gets it again, and he'll drill it in. Here's the lean, flipping one up the wall for Drake. Center ice to Mayers. He goes after it, and he goes down. The rookie Tollefson, I think, tripped him, and he's upset.
I think Jamal Maris is going to get the original penalty. At least that's what he appeared.
Eric Weinrich is mic'd up tonight, and tempers are getting hot here in St. Louis. Tonight's game on FSN Midwest is being broadcast in high definition. Sports fans in St. Louis can see tonight's HD telecast on Charter Communications Channel 792. Well, Mayers did get the only penalty there for interference at 11-12. Columbus on the power play for the 5th time. Here's a chance in front. Oh, and it just went wide as Balostic had that chance. That just missed the near post. Now back for Hainsey. For Berard, a shot. And a blocker save by Lalime. Saw it all the way. Fedorov screens in front. Here's Berard, a chance. And a save again by Lalime. Now Fedorov down low. Battles against Beckman. Out high now for Hainsey. Berard to Hainsey. Slap shot blocked by Ryan Johnson. With a minute to go in the power play. Fedorov try to go back door. That's blocked by Salvador, but not cleared. And Berard near that line. Didn't get a lot on it. Blocked by Salvador. And he chips it high. Ryan Johnson, no stick. Can't clear it. And Balostic in deep. Fedorov across to Sherdaff, and he couldn't handle it. And Sherdaff sets up. Ryan Johnson has no stick. As Zhirdev gets it back to Hainsey, a chance. Rebound, backhander, they score! I think Balashtik knocked it in, and if he did, it'll be his first NHL goal. And Mayers doesn't like the call.
No, he sure doesn't, and this is good perseverance by this Columbus power play. And this had a lot to do with the fact that Ryan Johnson had no stick. You see the shovel shot by Berard as that puck was kept in. And this puck really was kept in directly because Ryan Johnson didn't have a stick, and puck ended up in front in the middle of the slot. Balashtik just punched it in over top of Lalime. So it's a power play goal for Balashtik, his first of his NHL career, and we're tied at 1.
He had 30 goals last year in the Czech League to lead that league in scoring last year during the lockout. So he doesn't have great speed, but has a good touch around the net. Now the Blues trying to go back on top. Backhander by Doug Weight, and a save by Leclerc. And he holds on.
But going back to this goal that Columbus scored, you see, as this was good patience, the Blues did a good job blocking the shots here, but you see Ryan Johnson right there, he doesn't have a stick. Because he doesn't have a stick, you see how the puck popped loose. If he would have had a stick, he would have been able to reach out and probably deflect that puck. You see by the look on his face, you can just, he had that shrug after the goal was scored. He realized that, hey, I've got no stick. And I don't know if his stick was broken or not, John. It was laying in the middle of the ice there, and I don't know if it was broken or not. But it was laying there. No one knocked it out of the way, but that's an unfortunate break for the Blues. Although now they get a power play again, so they can maybe get a power play goal and get the lead back.
Westcott has gone for holding. Blues on the power play, 1 of 6. Here's Sillinger for Tkachuk. He'll set up high. Now for Weight to Sillinger, a chance, save, off the goal post, rebound, they score! Weidman, his first NHL goal, and the Blues go back on top.
Dennis Weidman is one of those defensemen that loves to come in and help and pinch into the zone, and he came in from the back door. You'll see there he is, he's standing down low. This puck ends up hitting the goalpost first, and then the rebound comes back out. Keith Tkachuk got it, then it goes right to Weidman, and he's able to knock it in. But there's the second rebound that came out, so Weidman gets his first goal just after Balashtik gets his first NHL goal. The Blues regain the lead 2-1.
So Weidman, the native of Kitchener, Ontario, played his junior hockey with London, gets his first NHL goal at 13:34.
Keith Tkachuk with an assist. Now both the Blues goals have come on the power play, and Keith Tkachuk has been in front of the net, John, for both those goals. He didn't get anything on the first goal, the goal that was scored by Weight, but it was because he was standing right in front of the net. That's why the goal was scored, and here he does the same thing. You see, there he is, parked right in front of the net, and I think that puck actually hit the goalpost twice. The first one by Sillinger, the rebound by Tkachuk, and then it went right to Weidman before he chipped it in. So that's a big, big goal for the Blues as they regain that lead.
It came 50 seconds after Balashtik scored to tie the game. Weidman from Tkachuk and Sillinger. And it's 2-1. Now the Blues going back. Weinrich circles. Gets it ahead for Aaron Downey. Now played back of the goal. Weinrich after it again. Up on this side for Rycroft. Here's Downey. And he's hit hard at center. And he goes off. And the Blue Jackets tip it all the way down the ice. Weidman up on the wall for Weight. He can't get to it. Now Lalime one-hands it for Stepniak. And the rookie will chip one out of the zone. Now Weight for McCammon. And he'll fire one high to the far corner. Ole Tollefsen for the Blue Jackets. The Norwegian not clear. Jackman to the corner. Now McCammon back of the goal. Trying to find an opening here. And his pass was blocked. And the Blues with some support. Weinrich, or Jackman rather, keeps it in. Stepniak with it. He'll walk to the net and is pulled down. And they've called everything else tonight. Why not that one? With a wide open hook. Weidman, his first NHL goal. Coming up in the Hot Shots Intermission Report, a chat with Dennis Weidman. We'll have the highlights and more from the Wired Up, Eric Weinrich. Blues on the power play for the 8th time. They're 2 for 7. As Westcott goes for hooking at 15-18. It's been a power play fest tonight here at Savas Center. Tkachuk for Chyanek. Weidman's open, he gets it, a drive, and a save by Leclerc, and no rebound.
You can really see the difference, though, with this Blues power play with Keith Tkachuk going to the front of the net, John. It's really obvious what a big difference it makes. It seems to always open up somebody else. Somebody always has to take Tkachuk. There's the shot from Weidman on the wide there. A good save by Leclerc. He was in good position, a good one-timer, but that number right there, number 7, is always in front of the net, and that's a huge, huge impact on this power play.
Leclerc was drafted 8th overall in 2001. So he is the future in nets. Rick Wamsley, former Blues goalie, is their goalie coach, and he did a lot of scouting in advance of that draft. And obviously highly recommended that they draft Leclerc.
And he was the best goaltender for the Blue Jackets in camp this year before he was injured, so he does have a bright future.
Here the Blues getting it back, tipped by Sillinger just wide on a nice pass by Waite. 1:10 to go in the power play. And Tkachuk lost it on the wall for Letowski. Fedorov to Letowski. Now back for Fedorov, and then he gives it up on the Blues counter. Wait for Chyanek. On to Tkachuk. Here's Tkachuk through the slot, and still controlling. Over to Weidman, a drive and a save by Leclerc. Weidman got a lot on that one.
Huge save there, right leg kicked out. That's very nice.
Now wait again for Weidman. Now Weidman gets it, high shot, rebound, Tkachuk. Sillinger, and that backhander never got through. Chyanek again for Waite. Over for Weidman, fakes it. Back on the line again to Waite, a drive, save, and right to Tkachuk, but he couldn't handle it. He was in the right spot, but it was off his stick.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before he's going to score a bunch of goals. And it's, again, the game has changed a little bit. He knows he has to go to the front. It's just a matter of getting your timing down. If you're not playing for so long, you're not sure exactly where you should position yourself. But he has been a factor on both the Blues goals tonight.
Blues had 3 shots on that power play. But Westcott has returned to the ice. 2.5 to go in the period. Now Stepniak for Weinrich to Beckman. That shot hit traffic. Taken by McCammon. Cycles one for Stepniak. And his shot got through. And a save again by Leclerc. Back on the line, Beckman for Weinrich. Fires it. And the rebound, Stepniak, a shot going down just wide. And the Blue Jackets finally get it out. But a good effort by Stepniak.
Good forechecking by the Blues. And what's happening now is the defensemen of the Blues are really getting a lot of shots through.
Now it is McCammon at center ice. He gets it in deep. The Blues leading 2-1 here. By the way, a final in for Boston. Boston wins it 3-0 over Ottawa, so Heatley's scoring streak is history, and he falls 1 game short of tying Wayne Gretzky for that record.
That's a shame, it really is, because you like to see those kind of records at least get tied or broken. Especially, that's a great story by Heatley, getting traded from Atlanta to Ottawa. Would have been a great story to finish off, but unfortunately for him, but still 22 games is not bad at all, John. It's not, his name's not in the record book, but I think everybody knows exactly what he's done this year.
Well, it's not really fair that Gretzky gets to keep all the records, is it? But he's the great one for a reason.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there any doubt he was the greatest you ever played against?
No, not when I played again. I mean, you know what? Again, I didn't play enough against Mario. Mario had the size compared to what Wayne. You know, Mario played on a team that, I mean, that Edmonton team that Wayne played on in the 80s here was maybe the best team of all time. There's no question in my mind it's the greatest offensive team that ever played this game, and that's why his numbers were so great. But you know, he could do it all. I mean, he made the players around him much better too. But then he had a lot of great players to make even greater, which really helps a lot.
All right, Johnson, good pass to Mayers. A shot and a save by Leclerc. And the rebound came in front now, fed ahead. And the Jackets walked in, and a high shot by Rupp, who hasn't scored in 27 games, is off the glass. Mayers back for the Blues. As this game starts to open up at the tail end of the second period. Final minute of the period.
This is not a good time for the Blues to open up the game. You have a 1-goal lead. You don't want to sit on it, but you don't want to give 2-on-1s like they just did up. Rupp an opportunity on a 2-on-1.
Salvador guns it into the corner. Chyanek can't center it. And played up the wall for Balashnik, who has scored the Columbus goal. Wade and Weidman have scored for St. Louis. Tipped in by Chyanek. And Tkachuk, the first man there against Westcott.
It's free, let's go.
To an open side. And played ahead for Balashnik. That's going to do it. Well, for the fourth straight game, the Blues are going to be either even or ahead going to the third period. And they haven't won, of course, in the last three with a lead.
And I'm sure they'll be talking about that in the period. So it's in between the intermission. That's, I think, the whole key to the entire conversation is that they cannot let that happen again.
Blues hockey brought to you by smooth and refreshing Bud Light. Great taste for your great times. So the Blues get a power play goal from Weidman, his first in the NHL, and they regain the 1-goal lead. 2-1 Blues after 2.
The pitch. Swing! 40 seasons, 3,227 games, millions of memories. The official Busch Stadium Tribute DVD is on sale at Redbox at McDonald's. It'll be a big hit for the holiday.
Let's check tonight's forward key to the game. The Blues, as Dan mentioned, not very good. As a matter of fact, the worst record in the league when leading after 2.
Yeah, 1 win, 3 losses, and 2 overtime losses. They've allowed 32 goals. 32 goals not that bad when you're allowing 32 goals, but they've only scored 17 as well in that third period, so you can see why they put themselves behind the 8 ball. So this is a huge period for the Blues. They need a big win here.
And they've been outscored 8-0 in the last 3 third periods. They were tied against LA going to the third, gave up 3. Lost in Minnesota, up by 1, lost 5-3. And then the last game they were
up 3-2 against Columbus here on Saturday night, and Columbus scored early and then got that late power play goal to win 4-3.
Here is Westcott on the line, a shot, and that went off a leg and knocked through to Leem. And McCammon trying to forecheck. He was held up, and I think that's called. As the referee over there, Steve Pizzari, made that call as McCammon was held up.
Yeah, it has been a
15 Columbus, 2 minutes for interference.
Power play fest, as you mentioned earlier, John. This is the 14th power play. The Blues are 2 for 8. Columbus 1 for 5. Now you can't hold anybody up through the neutral zone. The puck was dumped out, and Westcott just got in the way of Rycroft, so he's off again.
The Blues 2 for 8 with 20 shots on the power play.
Yeah, Westcott, that is his 4th minor of the night, John. In fact, that's his 3rd in a row. The last 3 minors have been to Dewey Westcott.
Here is Weidman, and it bounced over his stick. And Letowski has a break into the zone, short-handed. Weidman going down, then a good defensive play. As Fedorov was the intended receiver for that pass.
That's a good defensive play, but again, that's an easy pass for a forward to make. And Letowski, you got to flip the puck. You can't just try to slide it along the ice, and that's a pretty easy saucer pass. He didn't get the puck elevated at all. And I know that Fedorov has to be frustrated. Fedorov has not scored a goal. It's funny, I talked to Doug McLean, the general manager of the Columbus Blue Jackets, before the game, and I asked him, you know, for $6 million a year, how's Fedorov playing? And he hasn't scored a goal yet. And he said, well, he's been the best defensive player that they've had. And I said, well, that's great that he's good defensively, but I don't know if you spent $6 million for him not to score goals, just to play defense. I think you can find a lot of guys in the league that can play solid defense if you don't have to pay $6 million to.
What do you say?
Didn't say much. He said he's got plenty of time. It's only 7 games that he's played. He has 3 assists, and he's only been -1. But I think the good news for him is he said that they won 2 games in a row, so he's not going to complain if they're winning.
Here's Chyanek. You must know Doug McLean pretty well to say that to him. Here's Wade, a shot. Rebound, Chyanek. Stepniak. Now Wade gets it. In front, Stepniak, a shot, another shot. And 2 great saves by Leclaire, who's keeping the Jackets in the game.
That was a world-class save right there on Stepniak. Great play by Doug Wade to follow in on the rebound. Little shovel pass. Now, I don't know how that puck didn't go in, but look at the reaction. Doug Wade, he followed in his shot here. He picked it up. Now he's just going to dump this right into the front. Now Stepniak with a shot. That's a big left leg kick that kept that puck out. Here you see it. Watch the left pad. Kick this. That's a great save there by Leclaire to keep this game at 2-1.
Blues on this power play alone have had 5 shots. And 32 for the game for St. Louis.
That's a lot of shots on goal, almost 2-1 deficit on the shots on goal. Columbus only 17 shots so far tonight.
They outshot the Jackets 34-19 on Saturday and lost by 1. Here comes Weinrich. 25 to go in the power play. He'll rip it in. Weidman gets there with Gamache. Now Kachuk back to the goal, can't get it. And Richardson will ice it. And 10 to go in the power play. Weinrich on for Waite. Sneaks by Gertzen. Now to the net for Kachuk. Big rebound. Another chance. They score! I think Gamache, his first goal in his first game with the Blues.
We talked about Gamache before the game. He likes to go to the net. He loves to score. And he followed in a couple of shots. This is good work again, set up by Doug Waite with his great speed down the right side. Little shovel pass, Kachuk, the 1 save there, the 2nd save, the 3rd rebound actually right to Gamache, who is parked on the far side of the net, and he cashes in his first as a St. Louis Blues, his 2nd career goal right there, and the Blues have a 2-goal lead.
His other goal came against David Abisher in Colorado. He said it went post to post and only across the line by an inch. So he couldn't really celebrate because he didn't know if it was in. He knew that one was in. It hit the back of the net.
This is a good goal. That's a goal scorer's goal. Go to the net, look for the rebounds, and you're going to be rewarded. And that's exactly what he did. He was rewarded because he was looking for a rebound.
So Gamache gets it at 2:39 from Weidman and Kachuk. And that goal came just after the power play expired. So a great start for Gamache in a Blues uniform. Again, he was playing about 8 minutes a night in Nashville, but he used to tear up the Canadian Junior Leagues. Matter of fact, he was once the Canadian Junior Player of the Year, playing out of the Quebec League.
He's already had almost 8 minutes. He had 7:51 through 2 periods, John, so that's as much as he's played in the whole game. So, and I know that he's going to get more ice time if he keeps going to the net.
Here's Doug Waite, a backhander, and that is blocked. And Berard gets it out for Letowski. Now Zherdev trying to walk in, and he lost it to Jackman. So the Blues get their 2-goal lead and lead at 3-1. And icing called here against St. Louis.
We're going to get another look at the goal from the overhead. Larry Plow has got to be very happy to see how Keith Elaine there, the goaltending coach's work this week with Elaine. But here, there's the one rebound kicked out. The second one, oh, actually, I didn't realize that. I thought he actually made the save on the second one. Gamage actually made the save on the second shot, then put it home.
Here's a shot from the point, wide by Hainsey. Now around the net, it's Fritchie. Can't stuff it in. Still plenty of time to play here, 15-21. And again, the Blues can't sit back.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, John. The Blues out shooting Columbus 8-0 in this period. They need to keep going after it. And Columbus is taking penalties right now. We've been calling all the penalties all night, the hooks and the holds, and continue to skate. You're going to get some more penalties called against Columbus.
And that is tipped out of play at the Blues bench.
Well, we're going to look at this goal again. We saw something there. This one might have went in. The second shot by Weidman might have went in. And see, there's Gamache's stick right there. Watch where it is. Well, it might have hit the post. It would have been close, but he made a pretty good play there just to sneak that one in. Dennis Weidman now with the goal and assist tonight. So the Blues getting other people involved. And another power play goal. As I mentioned, Keith Tkachuk, the big factor again. He gets an assist in this one. And where was he parked, John? This one right in front of the net as well.
And a shot by Westcott and a blocker save by Lalime. And Tkachuk for Sillinger. Gamache was put on waivers on Tuesday, and he and his girlfriend, they knew they were on waivers. And he and his girlfriend looked around the league and said, well, where's the closest place to Nashville? Because he liked to stay in the area. And they discovered that obviously the closest city was St. Louis. And lo and behold, the Blues, because they were last, got the first pick. And Gamache is now a Blue.
That's a good acquisition by Larry Plow. As I mentioned in the pregame, is that really, when you take someone off waivers, you got a waiver fee. That's all it is. And I mean, it's not that Gamache has a big contract. I mean, he originally was a 14th round draft pick, so I mean, he's not making a lot of money. So he's probably on a two-way as well.
And there's a shot and a save by LeClaire. The Blues with a 3-1 lead. Gamache, his first goal of the year.
The Blues lead 3-1, but they're going to be shorthanded. Another too many men on the ice penalty against the Blues. Second time this has happened to the Blues tonight, so the Blues really need to have a big kill here on this one.
Columbus 1 for 5. They've had 9 shots on their power play attempts. And the one goal by Volostic. Fedorov up the middle, can't get it. Now Volostic with it, a shot. And a glove save by Patrick Lalime. And he holds on. It's the 14 days of Christmas. The Blues are holding a special 14-day auction to benefit the 14 Fund starting next Tuesday, December 6th. The one-of-a-kind items up for bidding include dinner with team captain Dallas Drake, a chance to meet Doug Weight following the game, and a personal on-ice skills clinic with a Blues player. Visit stlouisblues.com for more information. Blues shorthanded. Beckman around the boards, not out. Kept in by Berard. Now back to Berard. And the Jackets set up on the power play. Volostic for Fedorov. Back toward the point for Berard. Fedorov gets it again. Zherdev parked in the slot. Across to Westcott, lets it go, and that was just tipped. And wide of the goal, and the Blues clear it high and down the ice.
Nice play by Dallas Drake to get that right out.
And that is offside as Zherdev was tardy in clearing the zone. Next Thursday, the Blues versus the Tampa Bay Lightning telecast will be presented in high definition. With the razor-sharp clarity of HD, you'll feel like you're on the ice. Check with your cable or satellite provider for more information. And HD channel number. Catch the Blues in HD on FSN Midwest. And here we have a penalty called again.
This is a high sticking call on Dan Fritchie, I think. Barrett Jackman was the recipient of the high stick. I don't believe he was cut. He made it look as he had his head come back.
49 Columbus, 2 minutes high stick.
See right in the corner here. There's the call. So we'll play 4 aside for 56 seconds, and the Blues will be on their 10th power play of the night.
So 4-on-4 as the Jackets move in. Gertson can't walk around Jackman. And the Blues set up. Weinrich for Jackman. Up front, Chyanek and Tkachuk. Chyanek dances in, a shot. Gets his own rebound. Now back on the line for Jackman. To Tkachuk. He'll leave it for Weinrich. He'll walk in, a shot, and that was wide. Leclerc never saw it till it was wide. That would have been in had it been on net.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if there was any room on the net, but he reacted well after the puck was by him.
Bernie, the Blues have had 25 shots on their power play attempts tonight. I don't know if I've ever seen a team with 25 shots on a power play over the course of an entire game.
Isn't that the truth?
Here's another chance for Gamache, and he fanned on that. Now Simon Gamache, who has his first goal with the Blues. For Sillinger. Back toward the line. Beckman now to Weidman. Blues on the power play. Here's Waite. Back on the line again to Weidman. In for Waite. Now Beckman has a chance. Over to Waite. Sillinger. Gamache the rebound. And he was pushed down. And in the corner, Waite gets it back for the Blues. Gamache for Weidman. That shot tipped on the glass. The puck stays in play. Weidman again. 15 to go on the power play. Waite back to Weidman. Fires it right on, and a save by Leclerc with Gamache right in front of the 23-year-old goaltender. Here's your Auto Tire bottom line difference.
28 of the 39 shots tonight on the power play, and you're right, John, that's very unusual to see that many shots, which tells you a lot of things. It tells you the Blues have worked on this power play. Here's the shot from Weidman. These shots are getting through, and this is a confident power play. When you're confident on the power play, you usually end up getting a lot of shots on goal, and there's a perfect example of Keith Tkachuk, John, rewarded. He's 2 assists tonight. All the goals have been scored because he's been right in front of the net. Now he's rewarded with a goal of his own.
His second of the year on a great play by Beckman. And Tkachuk just one-timed it into the net, and the Blues lead 4-1.
Good movement, and this is a nice play. He faked the shot. There's a nice little pass. Leclerc sliding from his left to right, wasn't able to get those legs closed in time. And Tkachuk redirects it. We've talked about the absence of Keith Tkachuk for so long now, and we said that it was going to take him a while to get going, John. I think these few days of practice has really helped him with his skating and getting back in shape, and I think this really comes at a good time for the Blues not to have a lot of games to play in a row. In a full week of practice, and the Blues have the whole weekend off, don't play again until Tuesday. So this is huge, and what a big game for Keith Tkachuk tonight.
So Tkachuk gets his second of the year at 9:06. The Blues' third power play goal. Now the Jackets in. Lalime, a great glove save there on Platt. What a great chance down that near side, and that may have been his best save of the night.
Yeah, good position by Lalime. We used to see Lalime kind of back in the net and then going down, leading away from the post. There he went down to the butterfly, but he was square to that post. Nowhere to go on a big save. But John, as you said, 3 power play goals for the Blues, but the 4th one just came seconds after the power play was over. So in essence, really, they're all 4 power play goals, although they won't show up that way in the scorecard.
Yeah, the goal earlier was about 10 seconds after Columbus Claret came out of the box. So the Blues with a 4-1 lead. And I think that's the result, Bernie, of some more practice time. As you said, the Blues have had a lot of practice time. You don't get it too often during the course of a season. And it's paid off tonight with their overall game. It's been much better. And the Blues lead 4-1.
Blues with a 4-1 lead. 3 of the 4 goals have been on the power play, and as we mentioned, that fourth one really was just seconds over after the expiration of the power play, so it really didn't give the Columbus player a chance to get back into play, so I consider those power play goals. So the difference in this game has truly been the Blues special teams.
Well, the Blues season high 41 shots on goal, and we're midway through the third period. The previous high this year was 40 shots against Minnesota on October 22nd. And that came in a 3-2 loss. Letowski and for Gerdau. Back to Letowski, and he never had his stick down. Now he gets it far corner. For Fedorov. In the slot, Mayers had Gerdau checked, and the Blues to center. Here's Sillinger, 2-on-1 with Drake. Mayers follows up, a chance, and Leclerc made the save. As again, the Blues just out-hustled the Blue Jackets up ice. And they had an odd man rush, and Leclerc had to make a good save. Now Sillinger knocks it down. And then Drake was going off on a line change, so the puck goes back to center. Here's Tkachuk just onto the ice. And his shot was tipped to the corner, and then he was upended. And play goes on. Ron Hainsey, number 6. Now that's kept in by Weidman. And his shot or pass blocked. Fritchie in the corner, bumped by Gamache. But the Blue Jackets get it out. Now Gamache back for Jackman. To Weidman. Chyanek into Gamache. Good play to Chyanek. And toward the net, and a save by Leclerc. Now Gamache back of the goal. Rolled in front, and Westcott covers up for Columbus. And Gertson knocked down by Jackman. And the Blues will clear it away. Again, the Blues are off until Tuesday, when they'll play their first game against the Eastern Conference. The Islanders in town on Tuesday. And the Blues will have a run of Eastern Conference games. There's only been one East-West game thus far in the league all year. But now will begin, almost like baseball, right, all the interleague games come at once.
Yeah. The Blues fans will get a chance to see some of the other games too, the other teams.
Time to check tonight. GMC professional play.
Well, this is the goal that gave the Blues a 2-1 lead. A beautiful power play goal. Look at this, 2 posts. First one by Sillinger, then from Tkachuk, and then right to Weidman, who scored his first NHL goal. Our GMC professional play, Weidman's first National Hockey League goal. Yeah, that puck was dumped over the glass without hitting it, so it's a delay of game penalty against Stempniak. So the Blues find themselves shorthanded again. This will be the 7th power play for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
And another penalty called here.
21 St. Louis, hooking.
And Mayers for hooking, so the Jackets will get a 5-on-3. The Blues have had 2 5-on-3 power plays tonight.
Now there's too many calls here, John. That's 18th power play now.
2-man advantage. Now Berard, wrist shot toward the net. And it goes back to Ron Hainsey now for Berard. Berard trying to work in. Hainsey lets it go. Blocked by Drake, who leads the Blues with close to 30 blocks on the year. 3rd most in the league. And does he sacrifice his body? Now Berard again. Berdina throws it right through the goal crease. No one there. Hainsey out high. 1:10 to go in the 5-on-3. Now for Berard. To Hainsey. Break goes down. Now a shot right on. And a save by Lalane. Now Berard, a shot blocked at the end. Hainsey a pass to the corner. And Erdina fires it back. Here's Berard. Turdina. Berard whistles one wide. No Fedorov on this 5-on-3.
Yeah,
That's a surprise.
I'm surprised. I can't believe that this. You've got to have your best players on the ice when you're on a 5-on-3.
Back to Hainsey again, a shot, and that's tipped wide by Balashtik. Now Berard lets it go. Blocked again by Drake. Blocked again by Drake. What a shift. The Blues have paid the price tonight. Another chance. Salvador blocked it. And the lead will carry up. What an effort by the Blues.
How many times do you think Berard's going to get his shot blocked tonight? Dallas Drake is sliding every time, and Berard has buried his head, and he's been able to slide right into the stick. But here's Berard, number 4. Look at this. There's the shot. Now he's going to get it back. Now, you know, you got to move it, but no, what does he do? He shoots it right at Dallas Drake again. So what a job by Dallas Drake, and what a job by this Blues penalty killing.
And the Blues get one man back. Mayers 5 to go in his minor. And now Mayers out of the box, so the Blues have killed it off.
I think the Blue Jackets need to take the yards, decline the penalty, and take the yards instead next time, John.
Well, they do have one power play goal tonight, but they are last in the league at 10%.
And I think you can see why right there. There was just poor decisions all the way around.
Here's a 2-on-1. Tkachuk and Sillinger. Tkachuk walks in to Sillinger. Wide open net. Never got a shot. Now Tkachuk out of the corner. Couldn't get a shot through. Now back on the line to Salvador. In for Rycroft. Now he spins a backhander. Saved by Leclerc. And Tkachuk fights for that rebound. And Zherdev gets it. And fired out of the zone by the Jackets. There's Beckman right back in there for the Blues. Can't get a shot. And Zherdev will weave through the neutral zone. And McCammon stole it from him. Under 4 to play in the third period. The Blues with a 4-1 lead. Trying to snap the 7-game home losing streak. The longest in club history. And a shot by a Walker goes high. Now it's McCammon. And Gamache fanned on that, and the puck to Shelley. And he'll poke it in. Lalime leaves it right in front there, but Weinrich knocked it away. Now a shot on goal by Rupp. And a save by Lalime, and he'll hold on. 3:15 to go. The Blues up 4-1. What's on Tap is brought to you by Bud Light. Our next telecast next Thursday from Tampa. We're on the air at 6 o'clock on FSN Midwest. 3:05 to go. The Blues with a 4-1 lead. Their last home win, October 19th, against Anaheim, and that is Lalime's last victory in a Blues uniform.
This is going to be the Blues' 5th win, John, and the Blues have allowed 2 goals or less in all 4 of the prior wins. So, I mean, it looks like they're going to certainly allow less than 2 or 2 and less.
And Jackman is knocked down, and another penalty call here. Time for tonight's Big Bell Big Save, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Beautiful save by Leclerc. You see the nice move by Doug Weight right to Stempniak. Look at that left pad save. Hung on to the rebound. That is our Big Bell big save. And the Blues are going to get another power play. So 3 for 10 tonight. This will be the 11th power play of the night. One more power play, and we could have a call for an even 20 for the night, John.
That is on Jeff Platt, number 18. So the Blues on the power play. But the Blues have played, you know, despite the fact they've had a lot of power plays and Columbus is undermanned, the Blues have played maybe their best team game of the year, Bernie.
Well, they're playing like they're supposed to play, John. This is a team that you have to beat. The Columbus Blue Jackets, as you said, they're shorthanded right now. Yeah, they still have a few talented players in the lineup, but the Blues should clearly dominate this team. And that's the way they have to play. They have to come out with the attitude that they're going to beat everybody, especially in this building. To lose 7 in a row has been very tough, but I mean, this has been a good hard week of work, working on different things, the power plays, and I mean, it's great to see a guy like Weidman gets his first goal. Gamache comes in, gets his first goal. Tkachuk scores just his second of the season after being out with the injuries, but this has been a great team effort, and they've really done it with special teams, John, and that's the whole deal. But they've created their opportunities because they've been out skating Columbus, and they've been forcing Columbus to take the penalties, and then that's why they've got their shots, and that's why they've been scoring their goals on the power play.
And now they'll get another 5 days to work on the overall game and improve in all areas as much as they can, because let's face it, they still have a long ways to go, and they need to put together a big-time winning streak to get back in the playoff race.
Absolutely, and they've got a stretch of a lot of games coming up, and it's very important that they continue to play well. And yes, after Tuesday, it's playing almost every day for the rest of the month and into January. So it's really important that they win the games after this rest. And it's important to beat these Eastern Conference teams.
Yeah, starting Tuesday, they'll have 13 games in 26 days. 1 minute to go here. And the Jackets will clear it down the ice.
And the one thing that's going to be important too, John, is winning on the road. They've got a lot of road games coming up too. They've played a lot of home games so far this year, and they really have got to win on the road.
And a shot by Balashnik is high off the glass. Weidman now for Drake. Up to Mayers. And Platt has returned, so the Blues don't score on the power play. But at this point, they don't care. They just want the W.
The one person I haven't seen much of, I don't know if Verboni has played this entire period or not. John, I haven't noticed him out there, and I'm looking for him on the bench. I don't see him on the bench.
Yeah, I don't recall calling his name.
Yeah, so he might have got hurt during this period as well.
And knocked away by Lalline. 5 to go. And that'll do it. The Blues break their 7-game home losing streak, and the fans at Savas finally have something to cheer about. Tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Budweiser.
Keith Tkachuk, a goal and 2 assists. We talked about how important he is to this hockey club. He's feeling better. You can see his ribs are better, and he's skating better, getting back into the flow of things, and he deserves to be the player of the game today, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. I think he's going to really provide so much of an edge for the Blues on the special teams, and with a healthy Keith Tkachuk, this team is going to play a lot better.
So the Blues get their 5th win of the year, break a 7-game home losing streak with a convincing 4-1 victory. The final shots 44-26 St. Louis. Our next telecast Thursday, a week from tonight at 6 o'clock on FSN Midwest as the Blues take on the defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. That's the story from St. Louis, where the Blues win. 4-1. News is next.